when we talk about the software-defined vehicle or the SDV trend and ADAS or advanced driver assistance systems, usually, more often than not, we talk about the passenger vehicle industry. Of course, ADAS is relevant only to the passenger vehicle industry, but its equivalent for the two-wheeler industry is ARAS, or advanced rider assistance systems. And SDV trend is also kind of percolating into the two-wheeler space. How is it progressing? To tell us more about it, we have with us Dr. Bernhard Heiming, who is the Chief Technology Officer at TVS Motor. Bernhard, thanks for sparing your time.
My pleasure. Good morning.
Good morning. And tell us, in terms of this progression of the SDV trend in two-wheelers, it's largely driven by the electrification, of course, but generally, how do you see the path ahead? And when it comes to ARAS, that's relatively more new a trend even in the two-wheeler space. So how is it progressing? And at TVS Motor, how do you plan to kind of take it forward? Because connected technology is a key one, and you want to play on the technology front quite strongly.
Yeah, I tell you my view. So the software-defined vehicle, electronics, and software came into the two-wheeler products, as you rightly said, over the electrification. So the ICE motor was exchanged into an electromotor. You have an inverter, you have software to control this. So by nature, such a vehicle is more electronic, and software. Also, what we have in these vehicles is connectivity to the outside world. So such an electric vehicle is kind of the perfect electronic platform already today. If you now think it forward, the elements of connectivity and software updates, why should they not go into ICE vehicles? In ICE vehicles, we have also an engine controller and instrument cluster. So connectivity, adding connectivity as an addition is natural common sense. So then we have in both worlds, in ICE vehicles and in electric vehicles, I would say an electronic and software platform where we can build on. Then the next step is, and that is, it doesn't really matter anymore between ICE and EV, to add future systems and sensors which the customer will appreciate and will help. You can look into the cars. These are full of cameras which are looking around, ultrasonic sensors, radar sensors, laser sensors. This full equipment is, of course, the end game in cars for autonomous driving. I'm not saying two-wheelers are already there, but elements of these sensors and their capabilities can be used to help the customer. So introduce a forward-looking camera, maybe with some infrared LED on top, and drive with a scooter through Bangalore during night for better visibility, and maybe even mirror it into a helm screen, would be a dramatic help. Wider view, better visibility, less risk driving in the night. So helpful things will happen and will be migrated out of the car world into the two-wheeler world. One thing is a problem. The systems from the cars are very expensive, reasonably expensive, maybe 10 times too expensive. So we need to choose the right systems, and we need to also tailor them to the cost levels of a two-wheeler.
Right.
In a positive sense. We want to make them affordable for the customer, so customer can buy and appreciate. We don't want to make them cheap and ugly.
Yeah, and definitely won't want to have a autonomous riding into two-wheeler.
People talk about it. I enjoy riding, so an autonomous riding for a two-wheeler is not common sense yet.
But technically it's possible?
Technically it's possible. You can put sensoric in there, you can put actuatoric in there for self-balancing. There are demonstrator vehicles visible if you Google, you find them. Of course, we are looking also in all sorts of directions in these technologies, but it's not common sense and straight customer benefit to do so yet.
But also, in a way, it will take away the fun out of riding, especially motorcycle. Imagine riding to a Apache and an auto just sitting on.
For sure, you are completely right.
Right. So, and you also touched upon the North Star program as the program. So, tell us what are the kind of principles, philosophy of it, developing this, and how do you plan to kind of put it on your vehicles, and what would it translate to for the end consumer?
So my big motto direction is keep it simple. In electronics, you can do lots of things. It can be overly complicated and it can overwhelm the customer, and it can overwhelm also the engineering organization. So if you keep it simple, means you have one computer on one side, the infotainment system, the vehicle controller, you have them fully under control, and you do the right features for the customer. These two computers can talk to each other in the vehicle. With this simple system, you can achieve a lot. Don't overcomplicate electric, electronic, and software.
And on the other side, the off-board, the TVS cloud,
Yeah.
that is, what are its objectives, and how will it play in the overall scheme of things for you?
There are two objectives in my view. Once we have the vehicles connected and can have applications running for the customer on the cloud, then we can be much, much faster to do software updates there, to have also applications which are requiring so much computational power which we don't have in the vehicle. So higher level video processing, once the customer has downloaded maybe a video from the vehicle, do some rendering on it, or store it, or do an analysis of the ride. Those kind of heavy computational power applications can, should, and will run in the cloud. So the customer can experience the product and remember what he has done with the product much more easy.
Lastly, the connected vehicle megatrend, and TVS Motor has been one of the first to offer that technology to the end consumer through its scooter, particularly the N-Talk. So how do you plan to build on that pillar further? What are the opportunities and
there are two
options?
opportunities. There's first the opportunity for the customer with the enhanced experience as outlined, and it's also an opportunity for us to do the software updates, either for feature benefits or calibration improvements, all sorts of things we can do via software to keep the vehicle always fresh. It's always up to date, and it's always online for, I would say, it doesn't age that fast anymore, versus, let's say, without connectivity.
Right.
You keep it young.
Right, keep it fresh. And as someone said the other day, like a mobile phone, the best version of the vehicle may or need not be the version which you buy at the showroom. It could become even better later.
It could become even better.
Thanks to the softwareization trend. Yeah.
My pleasure.
Okay, great. Always pleasure talking to someone like you. Thanks,
Thank you.
and once again, best wishes to you and your team.
Thank you.
On that note,
you.
there you heard Dr. Bernhard Heiming, CTO at TVS Motor, talking about the SDV trend and the ARAS trend progression in the two-wheeler space, and how TVS Motor wants to leverage these to enhance its competitiveness and, of course, gain more customers. On that note, thank you for watching this very interesting interview. Take care. Goodbye.